Let's go. It's that time. And we are back for another one. Underground World News Live. Good evening. Much love. Hope everyone's doing well tonight. As usual, I want to thank everyone that shares the stream and let you know that if you got anything you need to get to me, the email is dabu7@yahoo.com. You can tag me there in the chat at dabu77 or try to tag me over on X. Probably the best ways to get at me. Thank you for the feedback, Yellow Dog, Raymond in the house, Hoodie, Gabe, E. Fitz, Mayhem, Dub J, Jenna, D. Tom's, good to see everybody, Pixie, Kathy, Scott, everybody checking in, Carolina. I want to thank again everybody, Tooch, Tacos, Kef Bar, all the cats that have shared the stream. Appreciate it to the fullest. MC Dirty with us, Uncommon, Brother Steve. Yeah, we got full slate. And I can't not give a shout out to the brother Lowrider. Much love. Hope you're doing well. I know it's cold out here where I'm at. I'm in the mountains, Appalachian Mountains, Eastern Kentucky. And yeah, it's been the coldest that we've seen this year and in some time. And start off here with some news on that. You could see this cold blast hitting the lower 48. The Great Lakes getting hit hard. I'm going to cover that here in just a second. What they were calling the Snowpocalypse. Getting dumped on. So any of you guys that are out there dealing with that, I feel your pain. A lot of times that snow, it's everything east of the water that gets hit the hardest, like Buffalo and things like that. Meat Puppet, remember, for 3 months, Pure Blood of the Underground, official, right there. Much love, my brother. Hope all is good. Can't hear you. Why can't you hear me? I'm not sure why you guys would not be not hearing me. Sound in and out. Can't hear. Sound check, right? My mic check. I'm not sure what's going on. 5x5. Taco says 5. Kathy says sound is great. So we got mixed. E-Fit says 5x5. MC35 by 5. Stephen Crump. You know what's odd, and I understand that there's issues and there can be issues, but I was specifically warned in an email from someone that this is a tactic that they're using on live streamers and everything to break up the flow of everything, trying to come in and say that whatever they can do to cause distraction. I'm not saying that's what's happening right now, but I have to mention it because it was said to me. And I find it odd that half my crew, especially most of my mods, are saying everything's good. I bet there's issues going on. All I could say is refresh. I can't sit here and talk about it all night, or I never get anywhere. So all I got to do is just keep pushing. That's all I can do. My OBS hasn't cut out yet. Usually when that happens and it's on my end, you'll hear it. It'll come and I'll say something, and it usually is really quick. I'll see you guys say that it cut out for a second, and then that's it. Almost within seconds, it's back, but that hasn't happened at all. So, all right, refresh worked. All right, that's all I can say, man. Kathy said sound is fine. All right, now eyes to this, guys. Much love. Anyhow, if you guys are out there dealing with this, I feel your pain. Because I have been freezing. It's just cold up where I'm at, in the 20s, dipping down 20s every night. And as you can see here, searches for cords of wood hit a record. So this is people out trying to get truckloads of wood to stay warm. Those of you that don't have to burn wood to stay warm, well, you don't have to worry about that. Everybody's got it different, right? But a whole lot of people out there burning wood. In my neck of the woods, Eastern Kentucky, you go by people's places, and outside you'll see they got a stack of wood and usually got a big pile of coal. And on the coldest nights, it'll sprinkle in a little bit of that coal on the bottom to make it burn longer and hotter. Some people have a lot of the big propane things out there, big tanks, natural gas or propane. They're heating their homes with that. Different options out there. I just hope everyone's staying warm. Wood stove, whatever it takes, man. I mean, I've spent weeks and weeks out here chopping wood, preparing for this, connecting and reconnecting. Right, so it did it for the first time, hopefully the last of the stream. Want to share with you here some video footage, what they call the Snowpocalypse, off of the Great Lakes. Up to 2 feet of snow dumping on this area. This is some drone footage. Flying over top of all these cars that are stranded or stuck in this region. It goes on for miles and miles and miles. So, Bill Bradley said it's 6 feet. What? We talking snow drifts? Any other information there? Yeah. Well, lake effect snow. If you don't know, I've been covering this for years. It's a real thing. We talk about, manipulation and things like that. And yes, we've seen it. They can do things like that. Imagine cloud seeding ahead of a snow front and turning all that rain into snow. You could decimate an area for sure, but lake effect snow is a real thing. And I've seen it for years. Places like Buffalo get it all the time. Cleveland, that sits further south, it may get licked by it, like you can see right here, Erie. It's just now getting hit, but look where Buffalo sits right up here. Buffalo normally gets hammered. So this whole stretch susceptible to this off of the lake. I feel for you guys, man. A few years back, me and Hoodie Ross was up here in Cleveland shooting some music videos, and we had to get it in like this time of year. Only window we had. And boy, we froze. A music video for confirmation. Shot right in the streets of Cleveland, boy. It was freezing. We got it in. So I feel your pain, man. I've been there. I've tasted it. Hoodie's up there feeling it right now. All right, we'll keep it pushing here. Got a lot to cover. You can see I've got God of Darkness in the title. If you guys missed last night's surprise stream, man, you guys missed a good one. It's still there. It was the talk on fallen angels and all that. The 200, Lucifer, the Watchers, the Nephilim. I just tore into it, and I hit all the bases the best I could. I covered all the scripture, all the books that are removed from your Bible. And I don't know, we brought it full circle, painted the full picture of our history and what's going on here. A lot of these names that you see attached to comets or these heavenly bodies, they're attributed to what you want to call gods of myth or folklore, or some could say they weren't myth, that they were hybrids, they were giants, they were the Nephilim that I spoke of. And these objects in heaven get named after them. And Apophis is one of those. It's named after an Egyptian god of chaos and destruction. And it came by once before, very close to Earth. And these are events that I think are very interesting, because we can lock into these things and we can see them with our own instruments. We're at that kind of point. We're not cavemen. We can actually see these objects that come in close. My goal here within the next year or so, God willing, is to get my hands on a very good telescope setup. That way, by the time 2029 comes through and Apophis is coming through on a close approach, if I'm here and it hasn't gone to hell yet, we can lock it onto this thing. I would have done that to Oumuamua. When it came through, it would have been worth observing, because it was more of a spaceship by all accounts, even by them describing it, because we don't know, we couldn't see it. They saw it, and an artist always draws up the image and releases it to the public. They're like, oh, here, this is what it pretty much looked like. And it was long and cylindrical, but it wasn't until after Oumuamua, which means scout, got out of our area that they gave these details. That it was long and cylindrical in nature, that it was metallic in nature, and that it lifted up and picked up speed and took off out of here after it passed us in our neck of the woods, which is crazy. And much love, Lowrider, man. Coming through with the coffees, man. The support, can't thank you enough, brother. Much love. God bless. It is the best way to support the channel right there. Thank you again. And if you guys missed last night's stream, it's one to go catch up on. I tried to keep it within 2 hours. Hit all the points. Hit all the books that pulled. And sometimes when you hear me speak on some of these things, it all is going to tie in together. But this is going to be one that a lot of eyes are on come 2029 because it's going to be so close to Earth. They've even said it before that it could potentially hit Earth. Okay? So, as I always say, eyes to the skies. All right. Let's look at the top 5 states that Americans are fleeing from. This changes a little bit. A lot of times we see where they're fleeing from and it's what you would expect, but sometimes not. People are moving to and from constantly. The top 5 states that are seeing fluctuation here are as follows. California at the top, which is no surprise. Texas is where they're running to, mostly, followed by Arizona and then Nevada, around Vegas. That's where most of the people fleeing California are going. It's not like they're going all the way out to the East Coast in large numbers. But when it comes to the East Coast, believe it or not, a bunch are leaving Florida. Some people are going to be like, what? Well, yeah, they're leaving Florida. The hurricanes and stuff like that have a lot to do with it. Georgia, the number 1 destination, followed by Texas, which is Texas, in that sense, seeing the influx, and then North Carolina. New York, seeing the exodus. A lot of people leaving there and going to Florida. So it's just kind of like a shuffling of the deck here. And then New Jersey, and then Pennsylvania. Then you have Texas. 480,000 people fleeing, and the number 1 place they're leaving to is California, followed by Florida, and then Colorado. Last on the list, Illinois. The number 1 place people are going is Indiana, right next door, to get out of the state, followed by Florida, and then Wisconsin again, which is like right there. So they're like fleeing to the states out of Chicago and all that. They're fleeing to the states like right next to them, or just shooting on down to the beach, calling it a day. But I mean, to me, the ideal situation, it'd be hard to implement unless you had a lot of money to do it quickly. But to have a place in a couple different spots wouldn't hurt. They ain't got to be the most luxurious, the biggest, this and that. Just, survival would be number 1 to me. Get that checked off, a good survival location. And after that, in places like Florida, I couldn't see myself spending millions, even if I had it, on a place there, because it'd get wiped out so easy. And the insurance places are not wanting to cover the hurricane disaster, which is causing a huge situation in Florida that people don't even know about. It's a whole different issue. We've seen insurance agencies pulling out on the West Coast in terms of the fires. Now they're doing it in terms of the hurricanes down in Florida and even up in the other places. I'm not sure what it is in Carolina, but I suspect it's probably not a good situation. And also an update to North Carolina so that you know. All of the homes that the Amish went in and built for our fellow Americans down there that were, and even here tonight, because I'm looking down, it says 28 degrees here where I'm at, so I know, and it's snow, that they're freezing down there in the mountains. Right now, people are freezing. And the Amish came through and made like 100 tiny houses. But the state and their demons, their demon rats, they found a way to doom in our American people. We've got to talk about it. We've got to put light on it. These people are suffering because they said they could not have the houses. The demon rats said These people could not have the houses because they're not up to code. Can you believe that? Going to pull some code crap on some people that are living with nothing, living in tents and freezing. It's despicable. It's disgusting. It's. I've said it before. I wish I could do more. If I was a multimillionaire, that's the stuff that I would be out there doing. They talk about philanthropy and all this other stuff. I'd be going around doing things like that. Like, we just passed a person on one of these back roads the other day. Went by, their house was burning down. Fire department there and everything else. We came back later. It was a total loss, but it's people like that. I seen them out there crying and everything else. If I had the money, I'd want to be like, yo, check it out. And buy them a new home. You know what I'm saying? There needs to be that out there, and you don't see none of it. You don't see none of it. All the rich goons are demons at this point. Prove me wrong. We should be out here helping each other and doing things. You just don't see enough of it. No, keep it pushing here. Some of you might have thought, oh, hooray, Biden came through and said we're going to do away with all the student loan debt. Which I'm sure for anyone out there that had a huge debt and they were like, we're forgiving it. You were like, okay. But, everything always comes down to taxpayer expense. But this is a big game. And if you haven't seen that by now, they're locking us down and trying to mass inoculate us. I ain't playing their game. Much love. Hobo, thank you for the coffees. Much love. God bless. But look at this image. This shows the average. You can pick your state, wherever you're at, and you can see here where most people in your state sit in terms of student loan debt. I mean, everybody's like in the 30,000 range. The lowest is North Dakota. I mean, it's 29.6. It's 30. Yeah, everybody's in a 30. Let's see, Virginia, 40.1. It's between 30 and 40. That's where everyone falls. Georgia, 42. The highest they're saying is Maryland, 43. So, I mean, I feel your pain. This is a trap. You can't just sit there. I don't know. You can do what you want. But I can't just let someone walk into a trap. And like, I'm not going to let offspring and seeds fall into a trap to the best of my ability. I know college has been just that for a majority of the people that I know in this life. 90% of them. Maybe within that small 10%, someone went on, got a job, or is making a living with what they wanted to do. It's a very small amount. Reality is, most people that I know that go to college gets out, they never get the job that they wanted. And they're stuck working all these other jobs, and they're stuck with all this debt that they're a debt slave for life just to pay that off. I'll never forget. One day in college, this lady, my teacher, just had enough. And she came in and she told the whole class that I'm just telling you the truth. And she was like breaking down, and she held the tears back, but she told everybody how long she'd been at the college, how long she went to college, that she couldn't get a job, but she got out of college. So she had to get a job teaching there to make money, which paid nothing. And had these degrees she could do nothing with. And, man, the people were crying and emotional, went up and hugged her, and then they were walking out. I ended up walking out that day. It was the whole class did, because it was the day was done after that was said. She gave it to everybody in the room that day. I'll never forget it, man. And I thank her for being that honest and real. And I seen it happen with my own eyes. And seeing all these people get up and walk out, it was like a crazy moment. A crazy moment where they were like, we're done. We're not doing this. Lori, thank you. Much love. Right back at you. God bless. Thank you for that super chat. So I feel your pain out there if you're caught in this. This is a trap. By all means, I mean, if you have a dream and you want something to go after it. But don't just meander out there. You gotta lock in and go. Okay? Most people that I've seen that have been successful in like creating their own little businesses or side hustles or doing something like hands-on building or carpentry or being something that everyone needs, like a plumber, you know, windows installers, things like a mechanic, trades. That's what supplied the most work for most of the people that I know. To be real, and everybody's different, but I don't know. I just hate to see everybody fall into these traps. Just be wise. And look at this. Even though I'm going to take this back a decade. I'm going to take these numbers here back a decade off this chart. It shows that throughout the past decade, the survival rate of U.S. businesses is 1/3, meaning out of the 100% that started in 2013, by 2023, only 1/3 were left. And this wasn't, you don't see on this chart, you don't see an acceleration point really anywhere. Like I would expect, like through all the COVID crap and the bankruptcies and the job losses, that you would see a reflection and a huge spike, but it's still not good. Only 1/3 survive in a decade. And this country has like been destroyed through and through. All these people got high hopes Trump's going to come in and save the day. Well, again, they've got a rude awakening coming for them. You might see in the title, Trump's pierced ear in Gentile Messiah. I covered this before really quick. It was one of Uncommon News' video clips, but I've got a lot more detail I'm going to add to it here toward the end to go with all that and for the people that missed it. And I never got to put it in the video title so people could find it and focus in on it. So I've got a lot we're going to cover. Again, if you guys missed the Fallen Angel Demonology live stream from last night, it's one to go back and catch up on to get caught up to speed. Or you're going to be lost in some of the things I'm explaining going forth. For those that like diamonds, and look, diamonds is definitely the one materialistic thing that comes to mind when it comes to materialism and things like that, and riches and being pompous and and the ego and all these other things. Diamonds, gold, but gold having its benefit for being a currency and other things. And thank you, Robin. God bless you. Diamonds, I would argue, probably we know they're diamonds. They're the hardest thing out there. You can cut things with them and all that. But I'm going to say that there's probably also other applications that we haven't seen yet for diamonds. But right now, they're dirt cheap. And it's showing a window. If you're someone that is just looking at charts, okay? You don't know what this is. You don't know what you're looking at, but you don't know what it is. But you're looking at this chart, and you know what I'm saying? I'm saying, first off, I'm going over and checking the side news, and I'm like, wait, did the market crash? No, the markets haven't crashed. Like, you know what this is? This is a buy opportunity. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. It doesn't matter what it is. You buy the dip. You see? And everything comes and goes in cycles. Diamonds are feeling the brunt of just everything taking a hit. High inflation, dollar getting waxed, Americans getting waxed, everyone not having any money. And they always say that diamond sales are kind of a sign of that. You can see right here, last time it went down was right after lockdowns and everything went into motion. And the whole market, everything tanked out and it spiked down. But it's gone. Look, it came down and hit that spot and doubled over to lower than it's been since in like ever. This is a huge window. I'm saying if you can get, I mean, people, if you know someone that'll barter for diamonds, then make a move here. If you can get anything on a low and turn a dime on it, I mean, that's the name of the game. Okay, so diamonds aside, when you look up and you see they pull the sheet off and it's like revealed, you're actually looking at a diamond chart. You're like, what the? And back in. Keep it pushing. Let's look at East Coast, West Coast here real quick. Which one makes the most money? Well, in terms of GDP, the East Coast is where it's at. So, jobs, bringing in money, all that, $9 trillion compared to the West Coast, $5 trillion. GDP per capita is 84,000. West Coast is higher at 98,000. The population on the West Coast, 51 million. The population on the East Coast, 109 million. Thank you, Steve, MC, for the quick feedbacks. Helps a lot. So, what's the best coast? Let me take your pick. Somebody's probably going to claim, no matter what, the coast they live on. Maybe not, but yeah. Just shows you where the numbers are. East Coast, definitely. This East Coast ports. Matter of fact, this East Coast ports here, right up with this next one. Might as well just pull it up right now. We had an explosion hit the Miami port, the port of Miami here. Quantum checking in. Much love and respect right back at you. 228. Pure Bloods for infinity and beyond. Do you recall me warning you about the Chinese control of our ports? Let me just throw this out there if you missed it. All of our ports have cranes in them, right? The cranes that take all the stuff and move it all around and take the big shipping containers and put it on the boat and off the boat and vice versa and all that. Those cranes were made in China. Okay, so everybody knows a majority of the cranes in all of our ports, because that's who makes them, they were made in China. And come to find out, our U.S. government has found out that these cranes have built-in modems inside of them where they can be remote controlled. And they've been caught. China's been caught. It's actually a huge national security issue. It's absolutely massive. And they're like not saying a word about it because they don't want to freak no one out, I feel. Because when you realize that China can like shut down your port in a moment's notice, you're done. And they've had to come to the realization of this. They have no one to make new ones to replace them. So China says, oh, well, the modems are harmless. They're just in case we need to like tap in remotely to help you guys. Like, with an issue. And they're like, oh, get out of here with that. You never said a word about it. They weren't contracted to be in there. They were hidden in there. And now you're trying to say that they were there for that? Like, get out. We can do nothing about it at this point. You never forget that. Okay, so that's the first thing that comes to mind when I hear port port anything is, oh crap, they have to do with these cranes going haywire. But no, this time they're saying an explosion took place. Port of Miami. Witnesses saying they heard and felt a massive explosion. I'll play this video clip. Reporting that it came from a shipping container that had a car in it. No word if it was an EV or what. Joe.
Bro, for us to feel that shit over here.
If we were to go to war, these ports are critical as well. And that keeps freezing there for whatever reason. I've refreshed it a million times. You guys remember when the bridge collapsed up on the East Coast and it cut off the one port? A critical port? Yeah. Talk about a beta test. That was as suspicious as it gets. You can see it there. This is up close.
Mira eso, se hizo bien.
Mira, empieza por ahí, mira. Mira aquí una pieza también. Costó eso duro para que sepa. Ay, la grúa. Uno se sistema la grúa para la
Yeah, so that's pretty much all it's showing. Could have been worse, I guess, but just wanted to make note of it. Let's dive into financials real quick, and just gonna touch on this briefly. But it's no secret we all use cash money, the U.S. dollar. It is king, and the king is dying. The dollar's been dying. I mean, all of our lives. I mean, this thing has lost a majority of its power before I was even around. So my whole life, it's just been limping on on a prayer, only a fraction of what it once was. I mean, at this point, it's like worth like 0.5% of its original purchasing power. I mean, it's not backed by anything, no gold, no nothing. It's literally backed by an IOU, by promise. That has been the United States military going around with our force, enforcing it on the back of having all of our oil, or having the petrodollar, basically, having a deal with Saudi Arabia to back the dollar. But that's changed. They've now gone the other way. And it's not a secret at this point. They're like going with BRICS, which is crazy. And there's no military action. We're not going to war with them, dropping bombs, invading Saudi Arabia. It's just not happening. Nothing like that. They're just letting them go, I guess. The world is a stage. The dollar could remain around for another 100 years. But its purchasing power is another thing. Look at the UK currency. It was king before the dollar came through. It lost its power, its perch, as the world reserve currency, but it's still around. You see what I'm saying? It's had its own journey and mission. I feel like the only way that you're going to save the dollar is to back it by gold. And there's a lot of talk about that. That, though, brings up confiscation. Will they do it? It would seem to me that if you're going to do something like back your currency with it to save it as a means of national security, they would not miss the opportunity to do something to regulate how much a person can purchase or have, hold in their possession, all this other stuff. And if they do that effectively, if they say, every person is entitled, they can hold like 5 ounces. Say you're holding 20 ounces and you've been holding it for a long time and you've been stacking wisely and all this. Well, they're going to want the other 15 ounces. They're going to say, you can hold on to a little bit. But because of national security, you're going to have to. So be prepared for that. Gold, silver, anything, all the precious metals. When a national emergency is declared, they can do just about anything that they want. And don't forget, because of this border, Trump is doing that on day one. He is declaring on executive order a national emergency. And under that, they can do anything that they want. They revise the NDAA all the time, and that gives them control over everything, every drop of water, every resource in the country. You know, people are going to wake up to this when it's too late. And it's going to be like, where are you at? We've been telling you about this whole time. Nobody wanted to protest it then. Nobody wants to protest anything anymore, it seems. You need to keep that function flexing, if you ask me. Like, where's the militias? Like, they need to be out there. They need to exist just to keep things honest. We'll see. You know now. I said this before, and this is kind of I don't know when the Trumpers are going to realize this or not. This is something that's been going on for years, right? Ever since Trump first ran. Like 8 years running. After this, it's going to be 12. That this whole thing's been going because of the gap in between. Because, Biden got in there. But there will never be a Trump rally again. And I swear, I would love to see the look on some of these goons' faces, like when they realize this. All these mass gatherings that was equated to like going to like a concert or something. And everyone felt like they were part of like a gang. The Red Hat Society, Red Hat people from Hopi Prophecy. What happens when they realize that there's no more meetups? There's no more gatherings. There's no more of that high energy. All these people. It's not going to happen again. I mean, yeah, he could have an event somewhere, but it's just not going to be the same. It's not going to be like a rally. They faded when he got in there last time. Only came back as he ran again. I look back at it, I'm like, have we seen the last of boat parades and all this stuff ever? Because I doubt you'll see that for J.D. Vance. And you got to know that J.D. Vance is fully 100% their pick, their baby. The Luboviches are backing him 100%. Just go look it up. Look up the pictures. Look at who is backing that guy 1,000%. So this is a handoff from Trump to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is going to be the man. I'll get to more politics on that here in a bit. But, man, I don't think it makes it out of the Trump years here without this thing coming down. We got a lot of different things signaling that it's going to come down. Plus the fact that they told us it's going to come down. So you'd be kind of a fool not to be expecting this. And we're at the very top of the bull market. I mean, the steam blowing out the bull's nose. It's charging. I mean, when you get to this point, this is when they pull the rug every time. No one ever sees the top coming. It happens like a thief in the night. You wake up one morning and it usually is coupled with news, which we call FUD. Okay? And that FUD brings down the market and runs it into a bear market, and the bear markets last for some time. But usually how the bear market goes is it's not immediately clear that it's a bear market. It pulls back. There's a big drop off, but then it rebounds. And during that rebound, a lot of people get there like, oh, okay, that's all it was. We've rebounded. But then a short time after that, like almost as soon as they get comfortable, it drops out again. And that's when you know you're in a bear market and it's done. Top's done been in. This one could see a blow off top for sure. I've said it before, where this thing could go parabolic, which is dangerous. Yeah, it looks fun to be in there. all of a sudden, when day after day, it looks like it's charging. But it's going parabolic, is what you've got to realize at that point. And the crash is going to be so hard, it's going to be insane. Matter of fact, that's probably what's going to happen. Usually at the bottom in a pit, before you see a major run start in a bull cycle, you'll see a downward spike, a dump in the charts. It'll spike down before it takes off running up. It's just the way it is. Okay? And it does it opposite as well. It goes parabolic at the top before it dumps out. Most of the time. So what I foresee is, all these things seem to be riding together here. The markets, Bitcoin, and everything. It's almost like Bitcoin's going to pierce through 100,000, go parabolic, and I'm curious to see if that's going to be timed with the rest of the market, matching it, because it's coming down. The Bitcoin's definitely coming down after that. It will have a pullback. It's just the nature of it. How hard, I don't know, but if the rest of the market is dumping, I don't know. Depends on where people want to jump into. The Trump administration's done a good job of trying to play pro-crypto. So, if things do start to come down, people could see crypto as a safe haven, seeming that they've opened the door for you to jump into it. Look at this story. Fears of fake $50, $100 bills all over the place. So how are they countering this? This is in Istanbul, in Turkey. But this is happening in other places. And what happens if they roll this out big time here? A grand scheme to say, you know what? It's just we're just going to do away with the cash because it's too big of a problem. Just accept the digital versions. That's basically what they're saying. And you can avoid this fake currency thing. So you see where this is leading. It's walking into the digital trap. The digital is the answer here for them. And here's Trump warning Putin and basically all of BRICS with his tariffs. And the tariffs work to some degree, but they're not going to work in other areas, as I've said. They're going to backfire. Putin comes out and says that he does not hate the dollar. Okay? He wants Russia to once again be able to use the dollar. And that he's saying that he's not trying to de-dollarize or anything like that. He does not once bring up the fact that the West stole all their money, which is a huge thing. Like, I'm sure they're going to want that back, but the world is a stage, right? We stole all their money out of the banks. That's really what got this whole thing going. And it forced Russia to have to go do something else. And Russia's saying that it seems like they thought we were going to fall apart. That when they did this to us, when they stole all of our money and said, you can't use the dollar no more, they thought that Russia was just going to fall apart. They didn't. They accelerated. Their economy has been twice as strong as ours has been. They've created BRICS now in this whole new BRICS currency. And there's nothing that Trump can do to stop it. Trump can threaten tariffs. He can point his finger. He can do this and that. He can do whatever. He can't stop it. It's already been made. It's in motion. More countries are joining by the moment. It's growing. And he's threatening 100% tariffs on those BRICS members that either help create a new BRICS currency or back any replacement to the dollar. That's everybody. They're a team. It's just like NATO. You mess with one, you mess with all. This is the other side of the block. You've got NATO on one side, basically, BRICS and them on the other. If you want to give them alphabetic names here. This is what they're falling under. China, Iran, Russia, India. There's so many countries under BRICS, man, connected in. All it really takes is one big event to cripple this country. Stock market cyber attack, something, who knows? There's something, the big event, anytime. And I see them waiting to do it on Trump's watch. I guess anything is possible at this point. That Biden regime can make anything happen before January 20th. So there's a lot of different options still on the table till we get there. And you hear me talk about gold all the time. And obviously gold is key. It's huge, right? We all know gold is massive. And when it goes back to ancient stories, even like the Anunnaki, as I said before, what was the whole premise of the story? That they created mankind as slaves to get gold, to mine for gold. Yeah. Well, guess what? The dragon, China, has just announced they have found the world's largest gold deposit ever. That's pretty massive. It's all theirs, though. Okay? It's all theirs. They can do what they want with it. It changes the global supply. I think the total global supply, like 5 point, was it 5% or 0.5%? I don't know if it says it here on this one. But in instances like this, Bitcoiners out there right now would be like, look, they just found more gold and it raised the supply. Bitcoin's only got 21 million and it'll never add any more. They always come saying all this, that stuff to try to push their narrative of Bitcoin. Yeah, they found more, which to me is a good thing. You don't ever want to get into a position where you find that the gold, there's no more ever. Yes, will it make the price of it go through the roof? Yeah, but in the bigger picture of things, technologically, economically, it wouldn't be good for technology. If you needed it for things, you'd be out. And it would also signify, if you got to that moment, like we're tapped out. Like if the Anunnaki, if the whole ancient story began, they came here for that. Well, like, how'd they miss the biggest supply, the biggest chunk of it on the planet? Or are all these governments doing just that? And this is my belief. This is my belief. Because they're not using it for money. They're not. There's one thing that every government hoards, and I tell you on every show, they're buying it in record amounts. It's gold. All the central banks, where's it going? Stuffed away in some vault? Just to hide away? I'm not so sure of that. I know who all these governments bow down to. They bow down to the fallen. And someone asked earlier, how does the Anunnaki tie into all this? Blah, blah, blah. Well, they are of the same. They are of the same. And you have to go to what I explained last night, even with Nephilim. There's good and there's bad in all. And God showed this because he saved a bunch of Nephilim and took them to 32 peaks throughout the mountains so they could survive throughout the flood. Something that was left out of your Bible. But I can't not speak on that with this title. This is huge. To me, these world governments not only sacrifice people, as you know they do to Baal, to their deities, to their bosses, so to speak. But the ancient story tells us they wanted gold. So I take a step back and I look, what are all the governments doing around the world? Oh, they're mass murdering people and they're stacking gold. Why would they do that? Well, look over here. These beings that came down here wanted it, and they wanted it more than anything. So over here is a bunch of beings and entities that wanted gold more than anything, and over here are a bunch of humans that are stacking it more than anything. Pretty obvious to me. There's a connection. And it's still happening. And that's where it's all going. And you can't prove otherwise. You can't get into any one of them's vaults anywhere, ever. They'll show you maybe a staged picture of one vault out of London or this and that. But you ain't auditing. You ain't seeing inside of Fort Knox. None of it. No one can even prove there's any gold there. Where's it all at? Everybody on the world stage is supposed to send it to London. Because that's how the game works. If you want your paper currency to be worth anything, you got to send your gold to London, and they hold it in their vaults. And then they'll accept your money as being worth something. You can play ball. That's how it works. And then you got to do everything that they say. If you don't, they collapse your money, your currency, and say it's worth nothing. Just like that overnight. Just look at Venezuela. And then, if you want to get your gold back and you're like, I'm not playing your game no more, give me my gold back, they're going to say, F you. Just like they did to Venezuela. See how it works? So, this gold is going somewhere. I'm telling you, it's just ironic that these beings wanted this gold. So, and the tracking is sitting on the biggest supply out there. So, what are they going to do with it? What does any of them do with it? They're not doing nothing with it. They can't even show proof that they still have any of it. Any of them. They're not building bridges of gold or anything. They've got so much gold. Like, what are they doing with it? Every single government is just like, it's gone. And remember, when it comes to Ukraine, they laundered all this money and they bought a majority of gold with it. All that money went into gold. It's a massive gold operation. All the way back from Jump Street. And it ain't ended. That's what I see. Just wait till these things flex and show themselves. Here in this end game. They demand all gold, jewelry, everything across the globe. Yeah, something big is coming. DC, man. DC. Man. You have dropped more support for me in that super chat than anyone. I tell Eon all the time, because he's always dropping at the end of the stream, the coffee's legendary. But same thing, right there in that super chat. Like, that's straight up legendary, man. Like, nobody does that. Nobody does that. Constantly. You're like always coming in, dropping the hun. It's appreciated more than you know, man. Much love, man. Again, all appreciated to the fullest. Can you imagine? Could you imagine being alive and them thinking that you're dead and they're about to kill you? Like they're about to start harvesting organs or cremate you? I talked about this here recently. It happened, and it's happened again, this time in India. A man regains consciousness moments before cremation. Insane. Now all these people are getting in trouble. It's a wild story. I seen it again. I'm like, wow. We'll go ahead, top of the hour here. We'll dive into an update on the Diddler. If I would have said stuff about Diddy, and I did, years ago, I even got him in my music, calling him out. People wouldn't pay too much attention to it. They'd been like, oh, rapper. That's all I would have heard in chat. It's like, oh, rapper. It has nothing to do with rap. But like, we're beyond that. It's made major headlines now, and everybody knows or got a taste of what's going on with Diddy. So they lend an ear, kind of see, what's going on now with it. I don't hear and see the same comments that I used to. People realize, I guess, that, yeah, this man was doing some heavy Epstein stuff, and this was all part of the same Mossad operation. Well, how do you know that, Doppy? Well, just look at his handlers. Done. Stick a fork in it. Come from the same club, controlled by Mossad. Clive Davis. Lucian, all of them. Jimmy Iovine. All of them. Man, you kidding. We've got them snuffed out. And I don't see how some of these dudes make it out of this without taking hits. The Mossad, as you've seen with Epstein, they'll throw their main dude under the bus and kill him. They don't care. This with Diddy was a little different than Epstein, although you have some of the same people in the same circles that were at both, which is not going to be good for them. They were double dipping all these parties to show us how dirty and nasty they are. There's some of the people that are fleeing the country, like Ellen DeGenerate, because they think they don't stand a chance for what's about to happen. Ashton Kutcher, all these people talking about fleeing the country. And there's a lot of them, a bunch of them. You have to ask yourself why. And then you're seeing they're really doing it. They're leaving. I'm like, hold on. Like, they're really scared, man. They're flipping out. They're guilty as sin, and you can see it. Just like J-Lo up there for Kamala, crying on stage. Like, you gotta, man, bawling her eyes out. Like, why would she be doing this? Because she is scared to death of what's about to happen to her. She was P. Diddy's girlfriend at the height of this stuff. Give me a break. She's just, not just her. There's so many people tied into this. So here's another story. Another person suing Diddy. This time, he allegedly sexually assaulted a woman that showed up in 2016 to hang out with Cassie, his then girlfriend, the same one on footage he beat up in the hallway and all this other stuff. The same one you asked me. Beating up Cassie, that's what turned this whole thing, a can of worms, open on him. When that footage got seen by other higher people and other people that actually cared about her, they had enough. And they pulled this guy's card. And the FBI went in and got all these tapes, got all this information, got all the evidence. They've got everybody and their mama. They're sitting there looking like, man, we've got everyone. And think about this Trump FBI that's walking into this. They're getting all this. They're getting all this. Okay? People say whatever, but Kash Patel getting all these people. Man, they've I'm telling you what, something's gonna happen. For real. And criminals should be fearing. If you're pushing children, trafficking children, participating in this adrenochrome stuff, all these wild parties, these things were more than freak-offs. They were more than sexual parties. You got to understand that. I've said it before. You've got to see it for what it was. The occult is sacrifice. Follow the white rabbit. And you know it. It goes deep. This is why he was speaking code to his son to get rid of the pizza boxes. I'm telling you. They have trafficked children stashed in places, and that was it right there. Could decipher it clearly. Those that know the code know the lingo. And we only know this because we've been on this for years, all the way back to Pizzagate itself, all these things. Elephantis, everything. All these honeypots, too, they set out there to try to take away from this. But, this runs deep, man. All the politicians. Epstein was focused more on the political elite. Some stars in there, yeah, here and there. Diddy, more on the stars, which really are nothing to the elite. And I think that you're about to see them get cold. Seriously. Not needed no more. They got them all. They're all just a bunch of spoiled brats in Hollywood, demonic brats. Maybe they're not sacrificing enough for them or something, I don't know. But they're getting their cards pulled. All these stars are. And there's no way this Trump administration doesn't turn. I'd watch this. I'd watch and see. I'd keep a very close eye on the whole Diddy thing. We wake up and Diddy's dead or anything like that. They try the same crap before Trump gets in there. I mean, somebody was trying to. They were trying to silence him before they're out of there. You got to think it's Trump administration people. Biden administration people in there right now. His guards, everyone that he positioned before they leave on January 20th. If they want to silence somebody, it's got to be done then. Right? Everyone's positions are going to be replaced. Offices are going to be cleared out. Opportunities are going to be not there anymore for them. Do you see? Do you see? A window's closing. This is a very critical time for P. Diddy. Because those that want to silence him out of an administration that would do it, now would be the time. Their window's closing. Just like on pardoning everyone, which I'm going to get to here in a minute. Same thing. When you put yourself in their shoes, which is what you have to do to figure things out as an investigator, think like the enemy, and you play the whole situation out, you see things clear. You see what they would do, and you see the window of opportunities that they have, or they're going to miss it. I'm telling you, clip this one. Got a funny feeling we'll be coming back to it. LeBron, who was on film saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party, with this Lubavitch hat on. He is losing it all. His I didn't even know he had this media company, but some media company that they bought lost nearly $30 million last year, and it's just bleeding money. And he's as satanic and demonic as it gets. And I showed you on the last stream someone heckling him for being at these Diddy parties, which are sacrificial parties. Okay, again, not just sexual orgies. They're sacrificial of life. Okay. This is so much darker than what most people can even accept, but it's the truth. Well, here's an alert. We've got 3 dead in the U.S. after contracting a tick bite. So I would just be aware of this. Usually, ticks are out during the summer. It's when you got to watch them. It's one of the worst. But when you start to see things like this pop up on radar, I just want to make mention. Who knows what they're pushing? What could happen? So, CDC saying, yeah, all these people that were bit got this from being around a dog. And they say that most dogs that spread this, it's known as the brown The brown dog tick and the free-roaming dog tick. It's like stray dogs, wild dogs, dogs that be running through, I don't know, the woods all day or something, come out and they've got a tick on them. Basically, that's the best chance. If someone's petting that dog or around that dog, that's the way that they get this. The tick gets on them, they get bit, they get the disease. It's proving to be deadly. Okay? Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever. That's what it is. It's jumping to the politics. And who do we have here? We got old Cushy. Big Kush. This is Jared Kushner's dad. Remember Jared owned 666 Fifth Ave. His dad has now been appointed ambassador to France. So it's funny, when he gets in there, just all friends and family, they just pick these positions, start throwing them in them. So yeah, Kushner's dad now officially the ambassador to France. I'm sure it comes with a nice little government paycheck every year. Everything else covered, all the trips covered, protections and all that. So yeah. Now look at this. You may have heard a lot of positives about some of the people, and maybe not. Maybe some negatives about some of the people Trump's picked. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, and it is the establishment. Everyone's just getting fooled here recently. I guess with it's an election. So when you see someone like this get picked by Trump, and you say, how and why? It's almost like they thought like people were not paying attention or something. I don't know. But conservatives are like flipping out now because the DEA pick is Chad Chronister. They're saying that this dude is bad news, that he's woke. He's a Democrat donor, pro-jab, and a tyrant who arrested a pastor during lockdowns. They're going on and on and on about this dude. Like, dude, no way. Like, this is your pick? Like, how? Like, hey, I don't know what to say. I'm just reporting it. This is what happened. This is the dude. He's going to run the DEA. Apparently people not happy. And this brings me to the pardon news. If you guys missed it today, officially, Joe Biden saying that he is fully pardoned, a full pardon on Hunter Biden, his son, on any crimes going back the past decade. Which, when you look at it, it encompasses the startup of their dealings with Burisma. Okay? And Burisma is where all the shady stuff and all this criminal activity involving the Biden cartel is talked about. And both of them involved, Biden being the big guy and all this. So Burisma funneling all this money for all these years, for the past decade. And he basically just gave him a pardon. But I got a lawyer here that says that old Biden, thinking that he's slick, pardoning his son, his lawyers must be stupid because they did not read the fine print and they don't know the rules to the game. Okay? I'm going to play this video clip from a lawyer who lays it all out there right here. Okay? Get the audio. Let me blow this up. Make sure it's turned up, and here we go.
Did y'all miss me? Let's talk about Joe pardoning Hunter. And the wrinkle that nobody has picked up on yet. Not a single person I've listened to on the radio or anything else has picked up on this. I'm a lawyer, not your lawyer. So what Joe has issued is a blanket pardon. Basically, he's given Hunter Biden immunity for everything that started when he joined Burisma 10 years ago up until now. It sounds great for Hunter, right? It sounds great for Joe because Joe is the person that Hunter would be testifying against if they made some kind of a deal, right? But do you understand how the Fifth Amendment works? If they give Hunter blanket immunity, which they have, Joe did this. Oh, he lied about it in June. He said he would never do it in a million years, and then he did it. What a good dad. He's doing it to protect himself because he doesn't want Hunter testifying against the Biden crime family. However, this is where he fouled up. Joe, you got to listen to your lawyers because I know one of your lawyers was bound to have been smart enough to figure this out, and if they didn't, you need to hire new ones. I worked a case one time where they granted immunity in order to extract testimony from the person talking who was involved with my client. Here's how it works. If you've been granted immunity, the Fifth Amendment no longer applies. You cannot incriminate yourself when you've been granted blanket immunity over everything you did from ant to ant. Therefore, Hunter Biden can now be forced to testify against the big guy. And this is what everybody is missing. And this is where Joe totally screwed the pooch legally on this, is the immunity gets rid of that Fifth Amendment. So now when they ask Hunter Biden, they put him on the stand, if they do, and they ask, how much money did you launder through Ukraine to your dad? And he says, I'm taking the fifth. The judge can compel him to testify because he is immune from prosecution on that. And if he still refuses to testify, he can hold him in contempt and he can put him in jail until which point he decides to testify. Good one, Joe, proving you're still a complete idiot.
Okay. We mean, what do you think about that? That is a lawyer flat out telling you that information. So, I'd rather, instead of me trying to explain that, have him state it and explain it there. Well, we'll see what happens with this. This is a Trump that ran on Hillary for president and did not do it. And when he was asked about it, he was like, because I just didn't feel like it. Oh, really? The Clinton cartel, crime family, all this talk, everything that they did. And then when he had the chance to actually do it, he didn't. I played the audio. He was asked about if he would pardon Hunter Biden. Not go after him, prosecute. He was like, you never know, blah, 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 this and that. And some of the things that, you're right, Tooch, that is a huge if, just as the guy said. If they even do it, they would have to, that's what I'm trying to explain right now. Come on, huge if, exactly right, because it just takes me back to the Hillary thing. Like, come on, man, we've lived through all this already, like, pretty much. I'm not falling for it again. Like, there's a fine line, if you can't tell, between the normal people and, like, the club, like the upper echelon. Like, anyone that's in the presidential family of any president that's been officially president is, like, untouchable. They will not touch them. And it's exactly what you're seeing right here with Hunter Biden. They can't think of a time in recent memory where there's been a blanket pardon to this size. They have to go back to when Gerald Ford gave Nixon blanket immunity. And you guys know the dirt that Nixon was doing. So, all right, I'm going to keep it. We know this now. He's done this. This brings us to all the gaslighting and all the lies. And I got to point it out because, I mean, they did it so much. They lied to us so much. Here's an example of Karine Jean-Pierre.
Presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there,
I just said no. I just answered.
The president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
His son, Hunter, is also up for being sentenced next month. Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no. Anything else to add? Will he?
I'll be glad that we don't have to see this clown no more. Gaslighting the people and lying. I mean, they did it. I mean, the politicians lie. That's what they do. But man, boldly lying, gaslighting right in front of your face constantly is just disgusting. Yeah. Unless Biden sparks some kind of national emergency, all these faces shuffle into the background come January 20th. And in terms of this whole thing, I think it's pretty clear what's going on here. Biden is trying to cover tracks here. So, in what that lawyer just said, it's very interesting. But, well, we'll let you listen here to what they're saying on CNN.
We were told that this sort of came to a head this weekend, and this is why President Biden decided now to do this. But as Isaac was just saying, that really is a sense of the conversation that has been going on really inside the family. And I'm told this has been very much a family discussion and something that has been not widely shared or discussed as a policy matter inside the West Wing. But there was a worry of future prosecutions or future the potential of what the incoming Trump Justice Department could do. So that, of course, is freighted in all of this as well. But for now, this moment, this certainly is a decision that President Biden, I'm guessing, did not come to easily. But as you played that statement before, so much has changed since June when he told David Muir of ABC News that he would not do that. Of course,
he did. And oh yeah, no, I get it. You're right, Kempar. No, you're right. Yeah. She's doing what she's paid to do. I get it. It's very true. Very true. I hate seeing it. You know me. I'm about truth. Give it to me, straight and raw. That beating around the bush crap. But yeah, facts don't change. Facts are the facts. Look, these people are guilty, and we all know it, and they need to be tried for the treason. I just told you, though, in terms of prosecuting anyone that's in the upper echelon of this deep state, of this, whatever you want to call it, club here, good luck. Hillary didn't catch it. Like, none of them are catching it. Obama, Big Mike, none of them caught it. Like, the closest anyone's ever seen is when they hemmed up old Bill Clinton with the Monica Lewinsky thing. And that was just like some more blackmail type crap anyway. And it wasn't like, I don't know. They none of these dudes are really getting hit with anything. I mean, they had more charges stacked up on Trump than anyone. And look, he ain't gonna serve nothing now. And since he slid up into president, all them charges melted away. And we were discussing that before, like that could be some huge things in the end. Like if they try to jail him, put him in jail, sitting president, but like no, none of that's gonna happen now. Mike, but I don't get it. Hello? Audio check. Check my mic. Everything is fine. There's nothing to do with. It's not me. It's not on my end. I don't have no loose cables or anything like that here to do anything like that. I don't know what the. I don't know. Everyone said this for it says robot Dabu. Well, then that's like connection. That's something to do connection. Sound weird. No chat. I'm gonna sit here and see. Notice how these problems only happen like the more people pile in, then all of a sudden this happens. I don't get it. I don't know why it would have all of a sudden went bad and what I could do. Yeah. My connections here is hardwired in. I don't know. Only my channel. Just sitting here looking. Not as bad now. Unplug the mic. It's not my mic. When I'm about to go live. Only my channel. Just sitting here looking. Not as bad now. Unplug the mic. It's not my mic. Ah. I heard it. No, no, dude. That's like in the community. That's in like the way it's being processed. Which here, watch this. I'm gonna just do this real quick. So you tell me if at any point that it gets better. Funny how it just comes in out of nowhere. Because I'm leaning toward the same thing that always gives me problems, which is freaking OBS. When I speak and the mic thing on OBS and it rises, it's got a weird pulse to it. Only thing I can do about that is shut that down. It's going to end the stream and then everything's going to be done. It's not my cables again. Apparently you guys keep saying check your cables. I've done checked them. I've done unplugged them. I plugged them back in. It's better, but still scratchy. See, something's there, man. Volume is too high. Funny, I was just warned in an email about something like this. Interesting. I said it earlier. I said it before it even it happened. That I was warned about this. And happening. And it becoming a distraction and being used as a distraction. So I'm like literally getting hit with a weapon that I was warned about. Which is, how'd they know? It's getting stupid. Oh, it's not no background or jack. It's not my stuff. I've done unplugged everything and plugged it back in. See, everyone's like, check your wires. I already did. Already unplugged it, and nothing's changed. So it's not that. I'm telling you, it seems like a processing thing. Codec issue. They keep saying restart and stop over reacting. Yeah. Try to get another mic check here. See, we're just gonna see if it's cleared up. Yeah, when it comes to the OBS, all I can do is like, somebody emailed me. I said it earlier, and it's just it's very odd to me that all of a sudden this is happening. Very, very, very. 4x5. I got a 5x5 from Quantum. Can hear, but still choppy. Oh, man, this is I don't know. This has never happened before. And you guys, it's this in particular thing that is happening right now. It's never happened before. It's new. It's new. After I was warned about it. This is just crazy, man. If I shut down the OBS, it's going to end the stream. I fire it back up, it's going to make it all confusing. And all that. I am going to shut down a couple of these. Try to change a couple settings in the OBS and the bit rate. And hey, much love, Pure Bloods. Everybody out there. So I'm gonna go a mic check 1 2, and I'm gonna hit the live button. I'm gonna see what it sounds like here. And hey, much love, Pure Bloods. Everybody out there. Only thing I can think of here. Try mic check 1 2 on my end. Mic check 1 2. Minx, thank you for the coffee. Much love. Only thing I can think of here. Try mic check 1 2 on my end. Mic check 1 2. Yeah. I don't know what that is. I can't hear it. Quantum, thank you. Like my headset that I got on, if it was coming through my mic and all that, I can tell it's not coming from my mic. Some people may think that, but it's not. It's not. I've done reset it, plugged it in. I can hear my voice clear through my headset, through my mic. There's none of that. That is like I said before, it's like in the processing of all this. Yes, it was some kind of bad connection, but I don't know. Everything's been unplugged and replugged. Try one more thing. All right, mic check. It's probably going to be the same, but wow. It just blows me away that I was warned about this and here it's happening. So, I can sit here and do whatever I want to try to do, but wow, look at the chat just took off. All right, are we good? Are we good? Is it better? I'm seeing good news. Well, all I did was mute out. I just muted out. I didn't do really nothing. Before I unplugged the cables earlier. Well, I just unplugged my my headset piece earlier, but this time I muted out and I was gonna pull the plug off the side of my computer that connects to this little circle, but I didn't do it. Because if I did that, I don't know if it would reconnect. But I don't know. Are we good? The chat's flying. I'm waiting for the chat to stop flying. Let me get a refresh. Let me get a quick refresh. Reconnect. But all right. There I was. I hurt myself. I sounded normal. All right, we're back in action. Jeez, oh Pete's. All right. Chat's good. Coming in good. Sounds good. 5x5. We're going to keep it pushing. All right. Was able to save it. Only other option was going to be to shut it down. So, all right. Very odd. I don't know. It's all just odd to me. All right. I'm going to keep pushing. AOC may launch a 2028 bid. I told you they were talking about running Kamala. That's all they had. And it seems that they're taking this serious. So I foresee them pushing this more and more and more in the coming years. This is just the beginning of it. Positioning AOC, their lapdog, that they found in a bar, to do their evil deeds. Always said she looked like the female version of the Baphomet. Like she'll do anything that they say. She'll spit. Those type of people are dangerous. But, I mean, does it really matter here? Like, I look back at the last election, and there was a mystery amount of votes that popped in there. When you look back at the stats now, they're like, where'd they go? Where'd all those people go that were there for Biden on the last one? I don't know, man. A lot of things could be exposed if true good guys were getting in here. But man, I'm seeing all this Elon Doge stuff. I'm seeing this Cash Patel stuff. I'm seeing all the stuff. RFK. We're going to see then, right? We're going to see what's about to happen. If stuff's going to be, I'm telling you right now, if they thought that they were going to pull all these moves and like not back it up it was all talk, they got a rude awakening coming. Because people are just sitting here watching like vultures, like hawks. Just like, make your move. Like, do what you said you're going to do. Like, now, when these cats are in there, we're going to be watching them under the microscope. So, before we get to January 20th, let's go over a couple things that we got to get through. First off, December 11th, coming up, this is where the states certify the election results. This is a pretty key time. Okay, all that's got to get locked in. Then from there, electoral colleges vote on the 17th. They meet at a designated location, usually the state capitol. Then they all cast their votes for the president. Normally, their votes reflect the decision of the state's residents. And remember this, okay? Normally, their votes reflect the decision of the state's residents. But occasionally, the electors go rogue and pick a different candidate. Are you kidding me? like, so you're looking for where can any more shenanigans happen? Right there, right here. I told you. All the way up till, well, let me keep going. On the 20th of December, government funding expires. Can you believe that? A Biden regime that sent billions and billions and billions to Ukraine, left and right. They got no more money. As they're getting ready to pass this off to Trump. Are you kidding me? So I warned you that this is, and Trump knew this, that he was going to be, they're going to be handing off, garbage to him, like a flop, like a disaster. On January 3rd, a new session of Congress begins. And on January 6th, the infamous J6, this is when Kamala Harris, of all people, has got to certify the election. Okay? And remember, she can still not do it. It will literally be the last thing, the last ditch thing that can happen that derails Trump getting in there. It's still a possibility, I'm just saying, man. Until we clear these hurdles, they're not cleared. And then on the 20th, Trump, Vance will be inaugurated. I've actually got footage up on my channel of the inauguration from the last time. Yeah, protests got crazy, intense on the front lines. And here, let me just share a little clip. This is in the streets, inauguration, how the protests get up there. This is when I was up there. You're going to find several videos. If you look up inauguration on my channel, Trump inauguration intense protest. But this was where a bunch of Black Bloc and Antifa and all them are on the streets breaking up bricks and throwing them toward the front line at cops. It's a big confrontation. And the cops slip in and throw a flashbang right in front of me. I mean, there's obvious a difference between the streamers that are out there. I even had a thing around my neck that said I was a journalist and all this other stuff. And had my camera in my hand and all this, but they come up and threw one right in my face, like right in front of me. But these people throwing bricks were knocking their own people out because their aim was so crappy. It was insane. They were throwing bricks and then hitting their own people because the bricks wasn't making it to the cops. It was insane. But this is a glimpse of what an inauguration will look like coming up. This was Trump's first inauguration and how it got out in the streets. So this one could get, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see here.
This son of a bitch has crept up Pepper spraying. Big trip up. God, right in my face.
You see that, man? That is what happens on these front lines, man. That was a wild one. They lit a limo on fire. I've got other footage. And you heard how loud that was. We were like a couple blocks away. We had a crew of us, and me and Eric Moore, at the time, he was running with the crew. We heard those bangs. We heard huge explosions. And when you hear booms that loud, like, most people were running away from it, and me and him were running like, I felt like a fullback or a football player, like a running back. I was like running through all these people through this field, and I look over, and Eric was right there, and we were just side by side. We ran down right to the spot and rolled right into the action. Like, it gets crazy. So inaugurations can get wild, man, in the streets. Just saying. I'm just saying. You talk about all these. They're already saying that there's going to be a bunch of protests up there. But my thing is like, you see January 6th was a trap and all that. Like, you got to be smart about what you're doing out there. But I just absolutely hate DC. I hate it. The inauguration was unique. If you've never been to one, I would say try to get it in. When will you ever be able to say that you'll get? And if you're gonna go, I'll talk about it the closer we get. I'll share other footage on the upcoming stream, because I posted up and I had a perfect perch right down into one of the main gates, overlooking BLM, all the bikers, the whole mall, everything. It was crazy. It showed everything. Held down a pretty good stream on that run. It was cool. I got to meet a lot of cool people. Got to meet different faces. You never know who you're going to meet. And I was in the middle of all that action. It's just me, man. I thrive on some of the action. Like, again, when I heard those loud, huge booms, I don't even know what we were doing. Like, before that moment in time, like, everything stopped. Like, it was like my bat signal. I had to get there. And I'm going to say that it's probably going to get pretty wild this time around. Going and covering stuff in the street, is different than entering a Capitol building. And you just got to be smart and wise of your every move out there. I just don't trust DC after seeing a honeypot. All right, going to keep it pushing. We're getting word now that Zelensky is now more unpopular than ever. This is 3 years after the war. Mainstream media admitting this. Looks like this guy's, it's going down. It's going to be interesting how, if Trump decides we're done. We've funded everything in Ukraine. We've made it what it is. It was the Obama administration that launched this. So we ran an elected government, the elected man, out of the country and into Russia back when Obama got in there with Maidan. Okay? This guy is a puppet. If Trump gets in there, what are they going to do here? Are they going to replace Zelensky and say, oh no, this dude's out of there? How's this going to be handled? Because when Trump got in here last time, they pretty much ignored Ukraine. It died down. As soon as he got in there, he ignored it. It was back burner. Nothing going on with it until as soon as Biden got in, they flared it right back up. And then they installed Zelensky. That was the new thing. And he's been their man here for these years. They're faced with this dude's demonic. He's satanic. You look him up, he's doing demonic. He's in like a G-string and high heels doing demonic dances. It's insane. Like, that's how demonic occult this is. All of them. He was born from Jewish parents into, I guess, this line of individuals that they selected. He's the man. That is what he is, their puppet there. So this is why you hear, Israel, they try to keep it separate. And it's even coming out of Zelensky's mouth about the connections, like the support, the two fronts. It's the same side backing. It's basically the West. I mean, Israel, all that, the United States, Israel, that have been backing all these moves and backing what's going on in Ukraine. And if you don't know, when it comes to Ukraine, I wish I had the video, man. There is one other Jewish guys, and I've got a video I'm going to share again here later on Trump. He's speaking on what is written about what the plan is for Ukraine. Okay, I seen this video clip where they're talking in it, and it's these Shabbat individuals saying that the whole goal was to go in and make Ukraine part of a new Israel. Okay, this is what they say. And they say that the Slavic, I don't know if they were pointing exactly at the Russians or whoever, all these people that are dying, they were chosen for liquidation. And that's crazy. But, I mean, at this point, if this thing ends here, Russia will take everything that they've got east of the river, all Crimea, hold all that, Luhansk, the Donbass, but everything west, Kyiv and all that will all remain Ukraine. As long as this thing is peacefully negotiated, and it's going to have to be, to a sense. Now, let's look at what's happening here. Germany shows up in Kiev with billions in aid, all this money, but no missiles, no weapons. Okay? Some are saying, hold on. Why? Even Zelensky's like, why? Like, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, the globalist leader, the chancellor from Germany, wants to know Ukraine's conditions for peace negotiations. So this is showing where this is going. Right here. They sent no missiles. They're all the money that they want, but no weaponry. What does this also do? This signals to Russia, if you're Germany, that, hey, we ain't sending no missiles. Watch us. Watch it. We're going to send our dude over here. We ain't giving them no missiles. So don't strike us with your hypersonic missiles. You see? That's exactly what that's saying. What do we got here? Sullivan touts that there's a massive surge in arms to Ukraine with 50 days left in Biden's administration. I told you. They were going to ramp it up. They were going to give everything they got. That's exactly what he's saying. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan saying and boasting that they're surging as many weapons as possible to Ukraine in the final days. Now, if you guys are talking peace, 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 why are you doing this? Makes no sense then. It's a waste. Why are you doing this? Why are they doing this? If something huge isn't about to happen. The United States, we're the ones that keep supplying all the weapons everywhere. And Russia said those that are supplying are going to get treated. They're going to catch it. They're going to catch the hit. That's us, man. That's us. My biggest thing here is what can happen between now and before Trump has a chance to do anything. And look, the Kremlin warns the Biden. It's warning Biden right now because they know the situation. They're saying that they're going to mount a response to each and every use of U.S. supplied missiles. What'd I just tell you? It's us. Who are they going to hit? Where are you going to hit us at? On a front over there somewhere? No, they're talking us, not Ukraine, not Kiev, not one of those cities. They're talking us, mounting a response to us. So, this isn't good, man. Like, the stage is set for them to just, like, do anything. Be like, yo, we gave you red line after red line. You just kept crossing them. Now you're all sitting over there in the dark. And impeach you. Shut down your communications. I'm going to take a moment right now, on that note, top of the hour, to remind everybody out there that you should have an emergency plan. And that you should have an emergency plan that you share with your friends and your family for an event just like this, where the communications go down. It's highly likely, I'm going to say it's 100% chance it's going to happen before 2030. Okay? It could happen tomorrow, in any time, in this smaller window. But it's sometimes the comms are going to be tested. They're going to be taken down big time. And when this happens, I don't know if it's going to be part of a bigger event, a singled out event. But just remember, the best way that I know how to describe it is when your cell phones don't work, and like for most people, if their service is down, they're not going to flip out. But when they go to the gas station, or they go to the neighbors, and they go to all these places, and everyone's phone's down, internet's down, everything's down, everywhere. And people, it's thinking about this. If internet's down and all that, then they're not going to be able to complete transactions, sales, anywhere. It would literally, the only thing that you can be able to get anywhere is going to be, if they did that, this is not an EMP. I'm just talking like taking down comms. If that happens, cash is king. Credit cards, none of that's going to be worth anything. Nothing digital, any of that. And see, you have to pull an event like this off before you switch to digital, or it defeats the purpose. So I feel it's incoming. All these wars, man. Okay, let's look at something here. Things are shifting. Things are shifting. Ukraine's winding down, right? So it looks like, by all accounts. Still may drop a nuke or two before it's all over, huh? But that's just one war front. Like, we're in a world war type setting. There's so many different theaters. Syria never really was resolved. It just completely had died down. They turned down the burner on it. Well, guess what? Right on cue. Right on cue. Like, all right, cut over here in Ukraine. Roll over to Syria. And action. Pick up. That's exactly what it's just set up. It's exactly what they're doing. Like, they're taking the attention off of Ukraine, and now Syria is firing up big time. All of a sudden, there's this new group on the ground. This new faction backed by al-Nusra, which is Al-Qaeda, which is America backing it. This HTS group. They're going after the government in Syria, Assad. And they're going city to city. Well, that's the West, so that you know. That's who that is, doing all this. And on the other side is Assad, Syria, backed by Russia, Iran, China, and all the enemies of us. So that's where we fit into this. The West is backing this terrorist. They're calling them the rebels. Okay, this rebel group on the ground, garbage. It's the West, and they're starting their crap. in Syria. This is biblical. And this is almost a repeat of history. I'm going to show you this here in a minute when we get to the whole Trump Messiah thing that I'm about to tear into. But I have to touch on this because it ties into it. We're switching gears. If there's ever a time where Damascus is going to fall or anything like that, it's going to be when it's a heightened war, when the big war stuff turns to it as the main theater. You know, just like Ukraine's been this whole time. For the past few years, it's shifting right in front of your face. It's shifting. It's changing right in front of your face. It's done it before. I've been covering this stuff for so long. I've watched it shift from one cycle into another and then back. Now we're watching it go back the other way. It's crazy, man. It's all staged, man. This world's a stage for anyone just showing up to the game late or whatever. Everything's rigged, man. It's all rigged. But these people are hell-bent on bringing prophecy into fruition and making certain things happen. Whether you believe it or not, they do. And they're the ones behind all this stuff, man. All these wars. I'm just saying, Syria, now on the map. Remember, everything you've just witnessed with Lebanon, everything you witnessed in Gaza, Palestine, Palestinians, and in Syria, and where this is going to get ready to go biblically with Trump. Okay? Looky here. Iran-backed Iraqi militias pouring across the border into Syria. Dude, this is world war. You've got dudes from all kinds of countries dumping in to different countries. All over the place, man. This is freaking world war, man. All over the place. People just pushing on like, well, let them worry about it. Like, dude, as soon as they start blowing stuff up here and all these illegals that are here get their bat signal, it's over. It's over. 10 million of them here. You think they're going to go easy? This place is about to become a war zone. America never been part of the war, always waging war everywhere else. Well, by default, it's going to become that day one of Trump's administration. I can see it clearly. Clearly. There's no way you wage war on the cartels, label them terrorists, and go after them, and it not be. Our border, our country, is now going to be directly affected in a frontline war. It's not a secret. It's all right out there in front of you. National emergency declared day one. They're going after all these goon strike teams. It's on. Going to be shooting at the border, back and forth. It's going to get crazy. It's going to heat up, and you don't think they're not going to strike in here? Give me a break. Give me a break. It's about to get nuts. That's where this is going. That's where this is going. Once this happens, you can't ignore it. It's going to be a turning point in history. Where's the million Chinese that are in here? Huh? Where they at? Oh, they're on property sitting right next to our military bases. You know, is Homan and all these fools going to start there? No, there's no mention of that. Going after Trendy Rock will have these shootouts and go out and get these gang members, which, yes, it needs to happen. But what about the rest? What about the million plus Chinese that are sitting on property right next to our bases? No one's saying anything out of this administration about it, which is kind of scary. Like, is this starting to feel like a setup? Oh, yeah. What is this? Syrian and Russian forces step up air raids, hitting these jihadists on the ground, the rebels. You know, can you see there's a line in the sand. You know, if whatever Russia in whatever Russia's fighting against, you can assure American mercenaries are on the other side. That's how this whole thing is set up. Out here on this world stage. So, there's no way to hide it at this point. They've tried throughout the years, but they've been busted. They're busted through and through. They created Al-Qaeda. They created ISIS. They've supported all of them. All these factions. Boko Haram in Africa. They've given them all weapons. They've made them who they are. I mean, you see what the Biden regime did in Afghanistan. They say a botched pullout. Well, they gave billions of dollars worth of equipment. You're talking helicopters, all the ammunition, everything you could think of. They just gave it. to the Taliban. You created a monster, and they did it on purpose. They did the same thing in Iraq. When we pulled out of there, left all the weapons sitting there. ISIS swooped down. Remember the caliphate? Remember that? Where'd they swoop down from? Syria. Wonder what they're doing right about now with their war machine that we gave them. Yeah, well, I think it's all about to come back to life. And this place is gonna burn hot. Man, I'd watch out now. Talking about biblical with Damascus. And look at this. Trump, Mr. No Wars. What's he's getting hardware here. He's warning Hamas that there's going to be hell to pay if hostages are not freed before inauguration. So he's basically saying, look, if you want to deal with me in peace, you let them out now. If they're not freed by inauguration, day one. It's all this day one stuff. Like, this dude's going to be ripping off EOs. Everything's going to be shifting. And things will be changing and going into motion. You could see here now, all of a sudden, U.S. warships are combating missile attacks on merchant vessels. They weren't doing this all the past many months. They were all getting sunk out there left and right. And we weren't like doing nothing. We were tucking tail and out of there. Now, they're saying they're stopping them. Another place to watch is Georgia. If you don't know, I'm talking the country of Georgia. If you don't know the history, it's been tied in to issues with Russia and all this other stuff. Revolt, war. Well, it's firing back up there. And I told you before, you got to watch these small places. Georgia, Moldova. You're going to hear more and more on these. They're going to heat up. Everything's shifting. What do we have here? We have Myanmar. Did you know, and most people don't know this, that Myanmar, which is bordering China, it is part of the world's, it has the world's longest running civil war. It began in 1948, and it's going to right now. That's insane. Well, China's getting involved there. And that would mean the United States takes a stance on the other side of this thing on trying to back Myanmar and trying to send, like they always do, mercenaries or proxies into this region. Look at all these fronts, war fronts, lining up. And then look at what we got here. It looks like Russia and China are busted through and through, taking out these lines that I told you about, these cables. And someone had said before, why don't they just communicate via satellites? And they do, and they can, but not via everything. And not everything is trusted going through the airwaves, especially if it's going through a hardline cable that no one can tap into or get to. Then a communication going from A to B can be secure through these cables. If you're sending communications anywhere through the air, it can be intercepted, especially coming from space. You have all that time to pick it up. So this is why they do certain things certain ways. Okay? So these undersea cables get taken out. And look, the timing of this is like no coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. The Biden regime, Joe Biden, gave the green light to use these long-range missiles on Russian targets inside of Russia. And that was like the last final straw for Russia. They changed their nuclear doctrine and everything. It said that you can get hit with nukes if you were to do this. The very next day, the first of 2 undersea cables, the BCS East-West Interlink connecting Lithuania to Sweden, is severed. And then the very next day, the Sea Lionel 1 cable, which links Finland to Germany, is cut. And this is very telling because this connects a lot of the European bases and countries of NATO, and they feel that this was an attack from Russia and China full scale. And not only that, they have proof. They from satellite data and all the logs, they have a Chinese vessel that was parked over both locations right when they happened. And they're busted in this instance. They can't deny it. Enter the Chinese bulk carrier, the Yiping 3. It was anchored right there at both sites right when it happened. And it has huge anchors that they say they dropped and they pulled across the ocean floor that ripped these cables in two. And they tore them out. And then they went right on down to the next one and they hit it. And they were making their way out of there. They were trying to get down and out of this area. But before they could, they got chased down and surrounded, which normally doesn't happen. But they got surrounded and stopped. And they were like, look, we know you were involved with this. So this is a huge thing. And now they're admitting that this whole thing basically delayed an attack. It delayed an attack, and they have to fix this now. They have to get this fixed. It just shows that this war and this battle is different. Moves are being made that are different. I'm telling you, when comms go down, you better know the place to go. Like I told you earlier, you better tell friends and family where to go. When your phones don't work and you're at the gas station, you better fill up, or already have it filled, and get to your spot. It's becoming clear that anything's an open target. And as long as we've got these illegals in here, all hell could break loose at any time. Right here, you've got a Democrat California senator saying that they're not helping ICE to deport illegal aliens. And I think that that's treasonous. Anyone that's here illegally, they should be willing to participate in getting criminals, killers, rapists out of here. When you're not, that's like treason. You're letting illegals. I mean, none of us can go anywhere else and just walk in. Why should they just run up in our place and take everything and make it hell? Anyhow, I just there's gonna be some showdowns here in these locations like this, like in Colorado, where the mayor's saying we're not shipping them out, but I'm going to play this clip from Cruz here.
Let's pick up this thread on tariffs. I remember covering your presidential campaign in 2016, and you were a skeptic of tariffs then. I know the politics around tariffs have changed. President-elect Trump has done that. But have the economics changed?
Well, I'll tell you what hasn't changed is the importance of leverage. And I got to say, you look at the threat of tariffs against Mexico and Canada immediately has produced action. We've seen the president of Mexico stand up and promise that she is going to work hand in hand with the president of the United States, President Trump, to secure the border. I'll tell you, representing Texas.
And I just wanted to play that piece. That's the South. Justin Trudeau of Canada just bended his knee and met at Mar-a-Lago with Trump. And they're helping with the whole border thing from the north. And it's all because he basically said to both of them, if you don't do something, I'm hitting you with these tariffs. So that's what he's talking about. This way of using the tariffs is leverage, as he said, works. Okay, and it works on your allies or the closest people to you. But will this work on your staunchest enemies out there on the world stage, so to speak? I'm not so sure.
We've seen 4 years.
So I just wanted to play that and also point this out, that the cartels are demanding higher fees. Now that Trump has won, they've changed their fees from $5,000 to $10,000 to take people in. They've doubled. Try to get them in right now, and people are paying it. Again, there's this big surge that they're trying to get in before the 20th. All right. So, this brings me to the final piece here tonight. And this is on Trump, his pierced ear. A repetition of history repeating itself. And we're going to dive into a couple things here real quick. If you missed it on one of the last streams, this is a very key thing. This is one of the rabbis basically saying that Trump is the Gentile Messiah. And this is huge, where everything's at. And I'm just going to play it, and then we'll talk about it. Okay? So, here we go.
Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah.
Oh, let me take this back. And a shout out to Uncommon. That was him right there. This is on his channel. Make sure to check out Uncommon, one of my mods. Uncommon777. He's the one that originally dropped this. Here we go.
The current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027. 1,167 days from today. Thus, the redemption will surely occur during Donald Trump's tenure. And I have good reason to believe Donald Trump was chosen to be the one to redeem the sins of Esav through offering his assistance in rebuilding the Holy Temple on the Temple Mount and establishing the Jewish kingdom over all of mankind in Jerusalem. Perhaps it is no accident that the numeric value of Donald Trump in Hebrew is the same as Messiah, son of David, Mashiach ben David, 424. However, Donald Trump is mistaken if he thinks he was chosen to make America great again. He will no doubt do a lot of good things to strengthen our economy, protect our borders, and allow religious freedom to flourish. But America will never become a great country on its own, because Esav's days are numbered. All our elite institutions and centers of power and influence are rotten through and through. The majority of Americans under 30 who are college educated and who are the future leaders of America support the vicious monsters of Hamas rather than the holy and courageous soldiers of the IDF. No human being, even Donald Trump, can reverse this. No. The greatness of America does not lie in its own success. America will be great when the Messiah comes. And the leader of this country, on behalf of all the good people in this country, will humbly present himself to the Jewish Messiah and ask him to accept the United States of America into a new alliance of countries who accept the leadership of the Messiah. A new United Nations will replace the current cesspool that goes by that fraudulent name. A real United Nations, united to serve God, led by the Messiah and based in Jerusalem. And my feeling is that the United States under President Trump will be the first nation to join.
This is huge. Okay? Now, of course, they don't believe in Jesus, in Yeshua. They don't believe he's the Messiah. Okay? They have their own dark Messiah, and I've told you this. I've showed you this. He is here. He is the Yunuka. He is the Torah genius. He is alive. He is performing miracles. He is here right now in Israel. But people sleep on it. It's almost like dark magic on them. Everyone just staying oblivious to this until, I guess, they sacrifice the red heifer and they roll this guy out. This guy is to sit inside this new temple. And you heard what he just said. Trump is going to be the one to come in here and usher in and help them establish building the final temple. Everything is there to do it. They have all the supplies ready, all of everything, literally. They have everything in place to do it, except for just doing it. They really can't do it on the Temple Mount as long as there's a dome there. So locations and all this other stuff. As I talked on the last stream, and I've said before, there's something very special about the Temple Mount. The wall that everyone goes to and puts their hand on and prays, that western wall, all that's left is Solomon's temple. You were looking, by written account, a wall that was not built by man. Look no further than the Testament of Solomon. I mean, it says it itself in the name. His own testament. The Testament of Solomon on how that temple was built. He used the jinn. Now you've got to remember, Solomon comes way after some of these events with the Nephilim and the Watchers and all that. He comes into the story. Solomon. By this point, the jinn are already here. They're already in motion. And he's using the spirits to to build the temple. He had them twining rope, cutting blocks, doing everything. That, to me, is just mind buster. Because he's telling you right there, he had them do this. He controlled these entities to do this. And it's written. It's described. I mean, you look at they can't find any proof or anything written anywhere on who really built the pyramids and this and that. Well, when it comes to Solomon's temple, it says it right there. It's fully described. It's not missing. And that's who he says built it. So, that is very crazy. You've got to remember, the Knights Templar, they got all their abilities, all their powerful abilities. How? You always wondered late night watching the History Channel, well, what did they find? What made them so powerful and rich? What made them so powerful? They found all of Solomon's goods, all of his spells, probably the ring, everything you could think of. They found out how to connect to the jinn and control them. They went into the mountains, they built a small church, and they made a statue. And this is the story of the Knight Templar. Do you see how this all connects back to the jinn and the fallen again? What did they do? What'd they do? They go up to this church in the mountains, and what did they do? They made a statue of Azazel. The fallen. That I explained to you in last night's stream. Of the fallen in the genealogy. He is the one that taught them metallurgy. To make weapons. To go to war. All these things. So the Knights Templar go dig something up underneath the Temple Mount. And immediately flee off to the mountains. Built this little church's building. And in it they erect a statue. And it's of what? Of who? Azazel? Ha ha! You know, they're connecting with the jinn. That is their secret. That is their power. Do you now see? You wonder why they went into every country from there and were feared and all this and did all this stuff? Because they had the jinn leading the way. They're cheating the system. They're tapping into these entities that are in the ether that you have no association with, but they can manipulate you. They can. It's supposed to be forbidden. And there's rules to the game. That's why, because most people can't listen. They can't obey. Even Solomon didn't. And he lost it all. because he didn't listen. He had to fight to get it back because he realized how bad he effed up. There's rules to the game with this witchcraft, with this sorcery, wizardry, because that's what it is. It's wizardry. And don't get it twisted. It's good and bad. It's dark and light. I mean, this is why in Jesus' name you can cast out demons. And he says, you will go on to do greater things than I. He casted demons out left and right. I swear it's the next level for me. To face these demons head on, to literally cast them out in a way and out of people. And there's power in the name, you know it. If there wasn't, exorcism wouldn't work, but it does. Again, it's the jinn. This is a fact you can't deny at this point. I mean, you've got to see it. Once you see it, though, you see what's happening here. So, all right, what this dude just say? He said that Trump was pierced in the ear. So this is a ritual. We knew it. We knew it. We knew it when we watched the whole thing. We knew it. Just go back and watch it and you know it. Stand and pump that fist perfect for the camera. Fight, get it out there. Everything, every bit of it. It just... We knew it. It was a ritual. And he says it's just like Cyrus the Great, that it happened. That God chose to save the Jewish people. And what happened with the piercing of the ear. Okay, so when we go and we look here, and there it is. There's the image of Trump pumping his fist. He says it matches Exodus 21:6. So what does Exodus 21:6 say? When we go and we look, it says, if he does this, his master must present him before God. Then his master must take him to the door or doorpost and publicly pierce his ear with an awl. Whatever that, it's an awl, piece of metal. After that, the slave will serve his master for life. This is what he was referencing right here. Okay? And when you look at Cyrus the Great, and look at the image of him, goes right back to with the wings on it of the fallen and everything, a giant with wings and everything. He was listed as the king of where? Persia, which is where? Iran. Okay? When you look into this, it says he is most famous for his campaigns during his reign, such as his conquest of Lydia and Babylonia. As the account later appears in the Bible, he is the ruler that liberated the Jewish people from their Babylonian captors. Okay, so he was a hero in their eyes, the Jewish eyes. You see, that's why he was just saying all these things about him. That Trump is like the great hero, Cyrus, that came and did all these things for the Jewish people. Do you see what he's saying? He's saying he's the Gentile Messiah. And he went on to say that he's going to present America to the Jewish Messiah. He flat out told you what's about to happen. Okay? So I'm laying all this out there so you can see it clearly. It's basically history's repeating itself here in this instance. This is the 550 BC before Christ. Cyrus the Great, he's saying he's like the second coming of him. He is basically the modern day Gentile Messiah. You heard the guy say it. But this is what he was referencing. I wanted to lay it out there and put some backdrop on it so you could see what the whole thing, with what the guy he was mentioning in the Bible verse and all that. So this is 1,000% ritual. Going to present us to the Jewish Messiah. Okay? And look what he said. He said that the guy had to be in power. Whoever it was going to be in power on October 2nd, 2027. He said that will be Donald Trump. And he's right. Now, he's elected. It'll be Donald Trump. By October 2nd, 2027, do you see how all this stuff is falling in line in the time frame? And what it also says is that Cyrus the Great also went in with the whole Babylonian thing, helping the Jews. They pretty much waged war on the areas of Palestine and Syria. And it's about to happen again. It already is. And you know it. It's all repeating. And he is the chosen one. I told you before, that was my problem with him. He cannot be this, he cannot be that, because he's not performing miracles. He is like they're attributing to their Messiah there in Israel, the Yanuka. Trump's not doing that. So I say, how can, where does he did a little horn? Like, what is going on here? Well, hold on. Little horn. Trump. Trumpet. Oh my God. He's it. You can't deny this. This is like huge. It's biblical. It's like this is the end time confirmation when their rabbis are coming out and telling you this. And I've already told you, I mean, for anyone showing up late to the ball game, we already know who the Dark Messiah is. It's the Yanuka. He's here. He's the Torah genius. He's here. He's performing miracles. If you've been living under a rock, there's just a certain series of events that have to happen. You see, these people will make them happen. They will usher them into reality. They will make them happen to have all this become reality, and to say, yes, all this, because certain things have to happen before, their Messiah steps on the stage. So they've made sure all these things have gone into motion so this can happen. And so he can sit inside this temple, which hasn't been built yet. But what did he just say? It's going to under Trump's administration. He just said that. This is what is chosen. And we're taking a back seat. I saw a clip on Cash Patel earlier, and people were flipping out on him like, you better watch out for Cash Patel. And what was coming out of Cash Patel's mouth? He was saying, we've got to wake up the American people and get the prioritize Israel. Said it all right there. Said it all right there. Just beady eyes. I trust none of them. Trust none of them. All these people over here clamoring, this and that. It's because that's the trap. It always has been. The left-right paradigm. Set up this side over here that's so horrible that they have to choose the other side. And just make the other side act like they stand for what the people like. It's just that simple. And they'll be rock stars. And it's exactly what they did. It's exactly what they've done. And so many ushered right into it. And because of the way it's done, they don't see how there's any evil or any wrong to it. That's great. It's part of the magic trick on them. But if you are awakened and you have the eyes to see, then you see all this clearly. And see what these demons have done. We're never winning unless one of us are in there. Not one of these politicians that are part of a bloodline and all this other crap. One of us from the streets, from the factories, from the neighborhoods. One of us. Until one of us has control, you ain't got it. It's an illusion. So, what I see in the visions shown to me is just a mass horde being led to a slaughter. How and all this, I don't know. All this and what, I don't get them details deciphered, but it's scary because it reminds me of the leading of masses astray. And I keep seeing this thing with Trump when I focus in on him of the whole peace, and then comes sudden destruction. It just keeps being shown to me. So, whatever it is, remember I said it. And I don't know what else to say. This is all chosen if you can't tell, if you can't see. This is their plan. At least you have a little bit of insight now that there's going to be key things. And you've got key dates to look forward to now. Even all the way up to October 2nd of 2027, when like all this stuff's going to shift. And man, there's certain windows to open in the heavens. It has everything to do with that. In matching it, as above, so below. Okay? And when these certain windows of opportunity happen, they'll do everything they can to make certain things happen. They'll plan it that way. They'll work it that way. Do everything they can to make things go in that direction. I told you before how Pluto just entered Aquarius. The last time that this happened, there was 24 massive revolts around the planet. Huge ones. And it came right off the heels of us and everything of us sparking our Revolutionary War with this country. Just add that to the chaos. Windows of opportunity open for these guys. And this is where you're going to find your event. This is where 9/11 fell. Fell right in to the key time frame in the biblical, in the sky charting. And they knew this in advance, far in advance, and they targeted it. It was a cult. It all is a cult. Ritual. That's why you can go back and you can see George Bush talking about 1,000 points of light and all this stuff, like 11 years or a decade to the day or something, 9/11. Come a long way since then, haven't we? Over 20 years. Our American people jumping out of buildings. I'll never forget. Truly. It's these things that got me going a long time ago. These events. I feel like we're coming up on one of like superior magnitude. I don't know what it's going to be, but just the events that are coming themselves are going to be something to keep an eye on. Again, I showed you the key events going up here. I don't think, Trump is, chosen by these people. He has caught the title of Messiah from them. Gentile Messiah. Not the Jewish Messiah. And he explained the whole thing. Man, this is one to watch. And the fact that he's going to hand us over to this Jewish Messiah. So some huge things are about to happen within Israel, and they have been. I mean, you've seen everything that's been going on. The whole thing with Syria and Palestine, how it was mentioned with Cyrus the Great, and what's going on there now, and everything repeating. Man, know where you're at in history, y'all. You remember what I always say. When Damascus falls, here anytime, you're going to be able to go to a page right in your Bible and see where it prophesied it. And you're going to be living in a day of prophecy right there. And man, on that day, I probably fall on my knees right there. Just knowing. We're at that checkpoint. We're there. We're at that beacon, that marker. We're at that prophecy. You can cross it off the list. You're living through it. You're in it. And that will be a super surreal moment. For sure. It's going to be non-debatable. It's non-debatable. When that city falls, when it's written, it hasn't fallen yet. It's one of the oldest cities, ongoing cities in history, in existence. So when it does, because it hasn't happened yet, it is biblical, and you will know where we sit in terms of the time frame. And I put it up there that it could happen at any moment. Look, it's firing back up. The stage is. Buckle up. Buckle up. This isn't going to be like the last time when Trump was in there. War fronts, I think, are going to flare. And as far as Israel's concerned, he's along for the ride. As far as Iran is concerned, on the other side is the enemy, already wanting to kill him. They've already telegraphed it. All this other stuff. He's along for the ride. You know? And ain't nobody going to say nothing. Because they've done said they're trying to kill him and everything else. So everybody's going to sit back, shut up, and they're going to push the war and support them in Israel. And that's how they're going to push it. You watch. No. Coming to a theater near you. Here soon. America becomes the theater of war. Day 1, national emergency declared by the Gentile Messiah. This is insane. But it's the truth. Like somebody pinched me, wake me up. Like, oh, bro. This is the real deal. Yeah. It's a wild one. So, hey, as I said before, know where you're at, man. History. We got some crazy events to come. That brings me to the end of this show. Get right. Again, if you missed the last show from last night on the Fallen Angel Demonology live show, it's under 2 hours. You need to catch up and watch it. It has very important information and details of everything of our history. It sews it all up, brings it full circle, and explains a lot. One thing I want to throw out there that I did not mention, and I was thinking, for anyone that's listening from last night, that I was going to hit on, and I forgot, just one little thing. It was part of the scripture that says that when the 200, when they saw these angels, the archangels, come down to get them, that they hid themselves among men. And it said that they transformed, they shape-shifted, they transformed themselves to look like men. To hide themselves. But they weeded them out. And it reminds me of exactly the same thing of Yeshua, Jesus coming back, and the whole prophecy of the wheat and the tare. Judgment Day. These tares are here, mingled in amongst us. Instead of lighting the whole place up, that's what's prophesied. He will gather and separate the wheat from the tare and then burn them. And I can't wait. Hope to witness it all. One way or another. Whether in the flesh or in spirit, I guess we're here. And it's going down, baby. I'd get right. I'd walk righteous, fight the good fight. And remember, there's something higher watching all of us that created everything here. It's definitely watching constantly. Every little thing we're doing. So I aim to please. The OBS disconnects and reconnects for no reason. I have absolutely not a single tab open. Stuff's so random. Anyhow, we made it through it. We got to the stream. Much love to all you guys who hang out. Always here. Much love. God bless. I want to thank everyone that joins us. Everyone that supports the stream. Everyone that hit the super chat. Everyone that sends coffees. Everyone that sends prayers. And information. Dablu7@yahoo.com. If you need to get something to me. Try to open it up here real quick before we shut it down. Fire up some music. Take us out of here. And I went back and I was listening to the beginning of the other stream when I had the music playing. And I seen how loud it was. Minx, thank you. Uncommon, again, much love, my brother. Low Rider, thank you for those coffees. Hobo, thank you as well. I'll try to be back for the next one on Wednesday. If not, be here Friday. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That is the schedule. Much love, yeah, to all y'all, all the mods. Thank you for all your help all the time. All you that are always here for the streams, all of you. I love all you, whole team, whole squad. All of you that show up all the time. It's part of something. Means something. Keep fighting the good fight. Legendary. Thank you so much. Seriously, the support means more than you know. More than you know. Much love, y'all.